look up what remand really meant, so
Yeah, it means it comes back. It goes up, it comes back.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals. Today's date is June 26, 2025. My name is Sean Igo. I'm the chairman of the board. We have three matters on our agenda tonight. The first matter is petition 5024, Wakeby Development. Gentlemen, would you like to come up? Property location at 184 South Sea Ave, Unit 1, West Yarmouth. It's in an R25 zoning district. The applicant seeks a special permit per 104.3.2 and 104.3.2 subsection 4, and/or a variance from section 203.5 for front setback relief to raise and replace a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling within the existing footprint as part of a pre-existing non-conforming use. The hearing is held pursuant to the Land Court's remand order of May 21st, 2025, Land Court number 23, miscellaneous 000313. Good evening, sir. Could you identify yourself for the
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Attorney Christopher Corain. I represent Wakeby Development, Inc. On this project. So as noted in the hearing notice, this is a remand from the Land Court. This case was, or project was originally brought to this board a year or so ago. There was a denial. There was 3 votes against it, 2 votes in favor. And so there was an appeal brought to the Land Court. Since that time, we've been working with the board through town council to see if we can come to some resolution that would be palatable to this board to get the project approved. I think as the board's aware, what we have is a structure that's in pretty bad disrepair. And we're looking to raise that and rebuild it. It will be on the same footprint. So we're not intensifying any of the nonconformities. The front yard setback was nonconforming, and obviously if we have multiple buildings on one lot, which is a nonconformity, but we're not creating any additional units. It's one single family condo. It will stay one single family condo. We're not intensifying any of the front yard setback. In discussions with town council, one of the concerns the board had was regarding the basement area, and that being a full basement and potentially that turning into a more use. So as part of our revised filing, we've turned that into a crawl space. So you can't finish it. You won't have anybody living down there. There will be one small section for mechanicals that will be the typical basement size, but that's just a small area. It's shown on the plan, but otherwise it'll be a crawl space, so no one will be finishing that or living down there. I know when I reviewed some of the minutes, there were some concerns about distance to groundwater. Obviously, by making it a crawl space as opposed to full basement, we're going to be increasing the distance to groundwater. Also, I know there was some talk about foundation, how much is going to be exposed, so the plans show that it won't be any more than 2 feet of exposure. That was a request of this board, so we made sure that's shown on the plans. There was also a request of the board about making sure that the foundation is beautified, for lack of a better term. So my client is proposing a stone facade, so you're not just looking at a concrete gray foundation. It'll be a stone facade. So, hoping that, given that, we've engaged with the board and worked through town council, that these changes that we've made to the plan will be acceptable to the board to allow us to move this project forward, dismiss the lawsuit, and everybody can go on their way. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I know town council's here and my client is here as well.
Okay, thank you. I think we're going to go to the board for some questions. Barbara, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No. No, I don't at this point.
Okay. John?
no questions, thank you.
Jay, questions?
Just a couple, just to verify a few things. The total height of this, it doesn't have heights on any of the diagrams. Just want to verify it's.
Yeah, it is a 2-story. It is going to a 2-story structure, but it's no higher than what's existing. So this structure is unique because it has the windmill at the front of it, and so we're below the windmill height. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to see if I can look at the plan, but it meets your height criteria.
It's not close to 35 feet.
No.
Around 22.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah, it's not close.
I think that was my primary question.
And the only other thing I know came up some of my discussion with town council was the septic. So there is an existing system there that this is already tied into, will continue to tie into it. When my client bought the property, he received a passing Title V, which is on record with the Board of Health. So we're not proposing any new septic or anything like
The
that.
three-bedroom septic
Correct.
capable.
Yep.
And Health Department will have to approve it anyway.
Correct, yes, correct.
So I don't have any other questions.
Okay, I don't really have any questions either. I did just want to clarify something on the facade, on the foundation. Generally, if you're 2 feet or less, we don't require that. So
Okay.
your client's not, at least from my perspective, is not required to do that. That's only if it's really built up, we try to
Understood.
dress that up. So
Okay.
that would be at his election.
Okay.
I don't think we'd make that a condition.
Okay, thank you.
Other than that, I don't have any questions. Let me go to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to come up and speak in favor of this petition? If so, please come to the microphone. Seeing none, is there anybody who wishes to speak in opposition to this petition? If so, please come to the microphone. Seeing none, okay. Anything else you'd like to add, counsel?
No, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer anything additional, but otherwise, I'm okay.
Okay. Is anybody prepared to, we're going to close the hearing to the public, open it up for board discussion. Is anybody prepared to begin a discussion or to make a motion?
Just want to make sure that this is not something, given it's the cottage community, it's not a blanket approval or anything like that. It's just individual,
Case by
case by
case,
case.
just this particular petition right here.
Yeah,
As
we're
we
not-
take all of them.
Right, we're not asking for anything other than for this
Yeah.
particular unit.
Okay, and existing septic. I'd be glad to make a motion to approve as presented this petition. It doesn't seem like it would have any undue harm to the neighborhood or anything like that, and I think it's actually going to dress it up. It's an much more improvement over the current dilapidated building.
Yeah, I took a site visit out there during this process. I
I
mean,
could see through the walls.
yeah, you can see, I mean, it's pretty bad shape. And, you know, I think the thing is, we're going to, keep the character, the windmill's staying, so the building itself will pretty much keep the character itself. So.
Motion made.
Okay, so we got a motion to
What
approve
I'd like to say,
as presented. We have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? I do think you meet the criteria of the bylaw as well. Okay, and I think it's going to be a very nice improvement.
Mr. Chairman, there's someone online who would like to speak.
Is this on this particular petition?
yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Could you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is John Trudeau. I'm speaking on behalf of my wife, Pamela King, and her father, Paul King. They own the property or the condo unit that is adjacent to this one. So they are most affected by this project as compared to anybody else. So, this thing is going to sit on the same footprint, but it's almost going to double in size, square footage wise. And particularly the thing that bothers us is that this property, the corner of this property is less than 20 feet from the corner of our house, which is Unit 2. And suddenly it's going to go from 1 story up to 24 feet tall. So while everybody acts like it's the same footprint, it's the same building, it really is not. It's being increased from less than 1,100 square feet to almost 1,900 square feet. Now, everybody says, well, it's still 3 bedrooms. Well, when you increase the property to that much, bigger rooms, more space means more people. So that leads to other issues, not just the fact that we're going to have a house 24 feet tall that's less than 20 feet from our house, but the drawings on here kind of misrepresent the parking. So the parking, there is a maximum of 4 spaces there to park cars. That is the max. You can't park in the street. It's a private street. It's 1 lane. You can't park in the street. There's no way to get by. As far as increasing parking, from what I understand, that is not necessarily doable because you need to get approval from every single owner within the association because you're going to be taking some more of the community property, shall we call it. So the idea that we're going to almost double the size of the place, that means more people, that means more cars. All of a sudden, the place gets a whole lot taller. It's right adjacent to our property. And if you want to get technical about it, there's a bump out on the right side of the property that is not there now. So there's some increased square footage right there that's beyond the footprint.
Sir, can I ask you a
So
question?
I'm just going to say that, I don't know. I just think that people are trying, I understand that people want to take a property and turn it into something better. I get that. And you could turn it into something better that would be modern, new, maintenance-free. But to double the square footage of the place and act like, it's no big deal,
Well,
I disagree with.
Well, I don't know that we don't think it's no big deal. Is this the first that you've heard about this petition, sir?
Well, we weren't sure exactly what was going to happen as far as, is it going to be one story? Is it going to be two stories?
Well, the reason
What
why
was
I
the
ask, sir,
specific.
could I just interrupt you for a second? The reason why
Sure.
I ask is, this is a petition that was dated May 26, 2023. We denied it the first time. They appealed it. I presume you got a notice of this back in '23. Your homeowners association, I believe, voted in favor of this. So I think that you've been on notice for quite a while about, I'm a little surprised that we're just hearing from you now. But this matter has been a remand from the land court, and so this has been negotiated between the town and the petitioner. You would have a right to appeal after this if you chose to, if we're going to vote in favor of this tonight. So you still have certain rights, but I'm just a little surprised that this is the first that we've heard of you, or from you, excuse me.
Well, all I can say is I apologize for that. Exactly when they receive notice or not, I can't speak to that personally. I don't have my wife here with me. She was unable to be here, but, well, it is what it is, but I've made my points, and, you're gonna do what you gotta do, but I think these are things that should be thought about, and I think that the petitioner, in some cases, when looking at their notes, were somewhat misleading about some of this stuff, trying to get their agenda passed by this board.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your comments.
Okay.
Is that the only person that we had online?
That's the only one that's raised.
All right, well, we have a motion made by Mr. Frapery, seconded by Mr. Mantoni. Any further discussion on the motion?
No, I appreciate their concerns, but I think that this is something that should be approved.
I agree, too. And there's certainly, their rights are still preserved if they want to file an appeal of our decision. I do think it does meet the criteria of the bylaw. I think it's not going to be any more substantially non-conforming than what's there now. I think it fits very nicely into the neighborhood. I think one thing that people really, at least our philosophy, is we believe that people have the right to redevelop their houses in a modern fashion, and so we take that into consideration. We do note the neighbors' concerns. We do think it probably, in this case, would have been better brought to the homeowners association and a discussion at that level before it reached here, and certainly not 2 years after this petition's come back to us.
I think as part of the record, there is a letter from the homeowner association when this originally was brought up that the trustees voted in favor of the project. I think, as you noted, given the utter disrepair of the building, I mean, they want to see something done. And
Yes, okay.
It sounds like there's some neighbors behind me that think the same thing.
Okay, hearing nothing, no further comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Actually, we're gonna take a roll call vote, because we have people online tonight. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That passes 4 in favor, none against. As you know, council is a 20-day appeal period that must elapse. Then you'll get a decision. Or are you going to give us a draft decision?
I don't know how, I wasn't part of the original application, so however your preference is, I can work with, town council on that if you'd like,
Okay, we can do
if
that.
that makes sense.
So if you want to get us a decision over, if you could just send it to me or send it over to the office, and they'll forward it to me, and I'll take a look at it.
All right, great.
That
All
was,
right, and then
that was a special permit, so.
that's a special permit. Would you be willing to withdraw your request for variance without prejudice?
Yeah, I could do that, because I don't think there any variance probably wasn't needed for this particular
No, you don't need it, but you asked for it anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah, so
how
I'll make
about a
a-
motion to,
Make a motion to withdraw variance without prejudice.
Second.
any discussion, hearing none? Barbara, how do you,
Aye. Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye too, so that's withdrawn without prejudice.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
And after you record that at the Registry of Deeds, if you could just bring a copy back to us.
Absolutely, great.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
everybody, thank you.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where you all going?
That was it.
Even us.
This is all South Village.
It is? Oh, okay. Well, nice to see you all. Have a nice summer.
Our signature property.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
32 cottages,
Right.
all those acres, they don't make them anymore.
I know.
Next petition is petition 5179, Timothy Kelly. Doing business, I guess, SAMK Realty, 1 LLC. Think you want to grab that door, John? Yeah. Property located at 1230 Route 28, South Yarmouth. It's in a B2 zoning district, and the applicant seeks a special permit for 104.3.2 subparagraph 3 and/or section 301 and/or variance from section 203.5 and/or section 301 for front and side setback relief and relief from buffer dimensions and plantings in order to raise and replace a non-conforming structure and reconfigure non-conforming parking. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Would you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Tim Kelly. I'm the owner of Sam K Realty, and also which owns the property at 1230 Route 28, South Yarmouth.
Okay. Could you please tell us a little bit about what you want to do over there?
So basically, we're just looking to put the building back together on the same footprint with a couple of modifications that were suggested by the design review. With the dormers on the front. We're going to use this, it's a non-conforming, pre-existing. We're going to basically to beautify the building a little bit because she said it looked a little plain Cathy site plan. So we're going to put some dormers on the front of the building. We're going to add some, well, it's got quite a bit of window space there, windows already, but we're going to reconfigure the windows and the door on the front. And then we were looking to add a garage door on the back of the building. And then, just because of the way the lot is, we don't really have enough parking in the front with the way that the building was configured. So we're looking to add some parking in the back, which is gonna, through the size of the parking, it's gonna go into the buffer, by 3 feet in the rear.
In the rear?
Correct.
What about,
Well, the side relief we're looking for is because the building itself is, it's because it's on a corner lot, that side, it's considered a front yard as well. So
Right.
we have 20 feet instead of the 30, so we're looking for relief on that.
okay. All right, okay. So, the parking in the front, you're gonna, I'm trying to,
There's 2 parking spots right in front of the building.
okay.
sideways.
Because I'm looking at this sheet right here.
Yes.
Is there a different parking?
Actually, should be quite a few pictures up there, in there as well.
Oh, I'm, okay, yeah. I
Regular
better
plot
go to
plan, that's
that
just,
one there.
this is the planting, plan. the
Right.
colored one.
Yeah, I
There are
was just
some
trying
other-
to use it one and the same. I see this one. Okay, so you're gonna have a parallel park there.
Right, you should have some colored renderings as well.
Yeah. No, we do, yeah. And so, what, how many units are you gonna have inside there?
Basically, it's gonna be, the building is, right now is, 2,700 square feet, so, the front main part of the building, which was fire damaged a long time ago, this building's been sitting there and dilapidated for 8 years. That is going to be a warehouse, and if you're looking from 28 to the building, the left side, approximately 20 by 30 is gonna be for future retail, so 600 square foot of retail, is there. And talking with the building commissioner, this would have to get a permit to do this anyways, but he said the way the parking, he was concerned about the parking in the square footage of the building. And with what I'm proposing for a business there, it's just gonna be a pool supply store. So it wouldn't be someplace that people are coming to browse in, they're gonna be in and out, they're gonna come get what they need and leave. So he felt like that would be something that would be acceptable. The back part of the unit, the 900 square feet, is gonna be an office.
Is that where you'd have employee parking too? Is that?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I guess where I have a little bit of a concern is the parking itself. Because obviously you're building this for the long term. I know if you got a pool supply, that, you're right, there might not. But then again, people who have pools will come over there and look for materials from you, wouldn't they?
Well, no, I do all my sales, we go to the homeowner's house to do sales for pools itself.
Are you gonna offer any retail out of that building?
Yeah, just like pool supplies, if somebody needs to
So, I
come and
mean,
grab
if I
it.
have a pool in my house and I want something like a,
Chlorine or something?
yeah, chlorine, whatever it is, I can come see you?
Correct.
Okay,
And
so
that's future, that's not even, that's potential, I'm not asking for that right now, because I'll need a permit for that once I do it anyway, so that I'm basically just asking for the raise and release, or the raise and replace at this point.
Do you have an interior layout of this?
Yes, it should be
Yeah,
in there.
Right here?
We've gone back and forth with the building commissioner and the site plan, and just, we've had many designs, and this is the one that we kind of all landed on, parking included.
Just ask a quick question.
Sure, go right ahead.
Is there gonna be any signage, or are you gonna come back for signage once you figure out what you're gonna do?
I'm gonna come back for signage, I'm thinking that, probably on the roof line,
Yeah,
right below the windows, and, if not there, just a street sign.
and a street sign too.
One of the two, or if not, if I'm allowed on both, but I don't know that they're,
You'll come
allow-
back.
I don't know that they'll allow both.
There won't be any signs initially, you'll come back to us if. you
Yes,
need signs.
yes,
And for use, obviously, well.
correct. Do I need to come back for you for usage on this? Is it for the zoning, once the building is approved?
Depends on whether it's,
Yeah, for, it's,
That's why I think
the time, yes.
what we're gonna wanna know here is, because you got a pretty good size, you got quite a bit amount of space here. What's upstairs?
nothing. Just gonna be open space.
You got stairs up, but you're not
Actually,
showing,
that's an old plan that we had, we were gonna put a second story on the backside, but that was, we found out we couldn't do it because the foundation doesn't have a footing under it on the rear part of the building, so it won't sustain a second story, so that's the one part of it. You should have had an updated plan on that, sorry.
The stairs are going away.
So one stairs is going down, there is a basement on the rear portion of the building, there is a
Full
basement.
full
The front portion
foundation?
is slab on grade.
So it's a full foundation underneath the back
Correct.
section?
The right side of the front of the building has a basement for mechanicals, which we are gonna fill that in. And, because we're gonna have the garage door on the back, and we're gonna need to have a drainage, an oil catching system in there through per the Board of Health. So we'll fill that whole basement in and put that catch system in there. So there will be no, that'll all basically be slab on grade.
So as it stands right now, you plan on occupying really the whole building, right?
Correct.
That's gonna be your office, your retail space, and your warehouse?
Correct.
And you're looking to maintain the same curb cuts?
Actually, we're gonna cut the, we're gonna, if you're familiar with the building, there are no curbs there at all right now. Basically, the people that were using it before me, that whole backyard, it's gravel, so there
I'm
are
talking
no
about
curb
along
cut.
28.
No additional. Actually, we're probably gonna make it a little smaller on on Carter Road side. So no, the curb cut is already there. The planter is already there. We're gonna actually enlarge it, towards the building.
That front will that be a sidewalk there? Is there a sidewalk?
There is a sidewalk there on the road, yes.
And the back doesn't have anything right now, the back of the building, that all will be new parking?
No, yeah, exactly. It was gravel. They used it for, whether it was permitted originally for parking, I'm not sure, but you can tell it's been used as a
So
parking lot.
you don't need a curb cut off of Carter?
No, sir.
Looks like grass.
Yeah, it's a little grown over here. Certain times of the year it does, but, yeah, if you go back and look at a lot of the old pictures, there used to be a couple of containers back there as well.
Is that a shed in the back corner?
It is.
Is that going away?
I would like to keep it there if possible.
It's not on the plan.
Well. John, do you have any questions?
Pretty much answered. Well, I guess the only other thing is, the additional signage down the road would go up front where all the plantings are? Is that where you would put that?
Yeah, I would put it
on
in that,
28?
yes, in the planter on 28, correct.
Yeah, I don't have anything else right now.
Well, so you're just looking for the use to be one business in here, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you'd be limited to that in our decision.
I don't know that I'd need another option for that.
Well, your parking demand right here, okay, I'm a little concerned that you don't have enough parking. I'm wondering if you might be able to turn your parking a little bit instead of having those parallel. Could you just turn those and maybe make them either angle or
We've tried.
straight on?
We've tried. It just
Can't
doesn't
do
work
it?
out. Not with the planter having to be, the 6 foot, has to be 6 foot inside my property line. So there's just not enough room for it to go that way. We've configured this in many different ways. This is between the building commissioner and the site plan review, this is kind of, we've gone through many different layouts, and this one is the kind of the one we landed on.
I mean, I think it's an attractive project that you're
Yes.
proposing here. Certainly don't have a problem with the aesthetics. I think the concern that I have, though, is parking and also the size of the building here. I think we're gonna have to restrict this to one business, and that's a lot for one business. If you wanted to have, subdivide it and lease to other people, I don't know that we could do that. You just
don't-
don't have the parking to do that.
I agree. I have an issue with that. If somebody wanted to, if I were to, if the building were to change hands or something, and somebody wanted to come back and ask for that relief, that's on them, but for now, I'm just seeking it for myself.
And how many employees do you have? Well, let me ask you this, because I'm only asking you this in a retail sense, really. Are you gonna have people working in here to sell products?
It would be one person, if we in fact open the store, there'd be one person working the retail store. And one office, so we would only be using 2 parking spots for actual employees.
And you guys even tried the angle parking in the front too? And that
Yeah,
didn't
this,
work?
yeah, I had configured it a couple different ways with the back parking, but it would push me farther in. There's no way I could get any more parking. I was gonna try and put them parallel, perpendicular with the fence line, but there wasn't enough room for the turnaround. We've kind of ran this through over and over and over. We got as much as we could out of it, unfortunately. I would love to have more parking, trust me.
I mean, I would suggest that anybody that pulls in there is probably not going to adhere to the parallel front parking. Those are big spaces, 10 by 23.
I think that's the regulation.
I think they're 10 by 20. I haven't looked at
I
it
think
in a while.
I think it's
but,
parallel, it's gotta get to 10 by 20
maybe
standard, yeah,
parallel's
10 by
okay.
20 standard, 23 with
10 by
parallel.
20 on the regulars.
Yep.
Which is a big spot, yeah.
Well, it is still, I think it's fairly tight, so I think that, having that extra space is gonna be nice, because it's a small spot coming in there, so a little extra space wouldn't be bad for them. Part of that is for the sidewalk as well, going into that front door, so that makes it look a little bigger than it actually is.
What about the drainage? I know in the design review, they asked about identification of the drainage and where it is. Is there?
There is drainage there, and that was only if we had to raise the manholes and if we were gonna be paving, but we're not sure that we're gonna pave yet. It might just be a gravel, parking lot.
That's why you're just gonna have gravel in the back, or is it gonna be gravel in the front?
Well, the front part is paved already.
Yeah,
And there is a catch basin, I believe, right outside that parking spot. But yeah, the back, we were just, proposing gravel at this point.
can you just identify for me where that catch basin is? Because I'm just trying to figure it
I'm
out.
pretty, it's not on any of the plans.
Okay,
Yeah, so I can't
yeah, they
pinpoint
just
it.
asked to have it identified, that's why I was asking. Where it is. And it also talks about roof drains, how you're gonna drain from the roof. There's a lot of drainage, obviously, from the roof space.
So you have a total of 5 spaces here.
Well, the other one going into the garage door would be considered employee parking. At loading dock employee parking, so we have 6.
Oh. Just going back to that shed, how big is the shed?
12 by 12 maybe?
140, 144, my math. So it's under 150, how close is it to the, because there's not a lot of room in that back corner now for the shed, that's why I'm asking.
No, it's just, yeah, it's tucked in there pretty good.
Yeah, how close to the lot line? Is it right on it?
8 or 10 feet maybe?
Do you show that on a plan?
I do not.
It's not
It might be on, it maybe has been on.
I don't see it on any of the plans, I just happened to see it in picture.
Maybe on an original.
Took a picture.
I've got plans upon plans upon plans.
This is all I can see when you take us from it.
Are you planning on keeping that shed?
If possible.
Well, I think that probably should have been
Yeah, I do have it on here.
included, and it should have been identified on your plan. Your engineer should have identified that. Okay, so we got it on one plan.
The site plan we didn't have.
You see that?
Is that the original, is that the current situation, is that what that one is?
That is, yeah, these were just before, that's existing conditions plan.
Okay, because we don't have that one. Well, I don't have it, I don't think. So how are they gonna do the driveway with that shed there? It's gonna have to move. Do you think?
I think so, yeah. How are you gonna do that driveway with the shed where it is? You're gonna have to move it.
I would be open to that, yeah, if it had to be, if I'm
Yeah,
allowed to,
but-
if I'm allowed to keep it, yes, well, I slide it back, so that.
And the shed's what size?
I think it's 12 by 12, I'm not actually sure.
Doesn't look
Sorry.
like it's 12 by 12.
Like 8 by 12, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So what are you gonna do? You gonna remodel it and fix it up?
It's actually, that's the best thing on the lot.
Well,
believe
yeah,
it or
but you're
not.
talking about a new building. I mean, what are you gonna do with that?
We would just, yeah, spruce that up. It's not a bad looking, it's not a bad looking shed.
Okay, so you're gonna fix that up too?
How close do we let those go to the, usually till?
Well, if they're 150 feet or less, I think they're 6 feet off your lot lines. more, anything more than that, they can have to conform to the setbacks.
So they got 20 setback from the driveway on the back, and then another 17 on the other side, so.
And there'll be no entrances from the rear to the front of the store?
No, we'll have our pass-through door from the office and the warehouse, so that nobody can, they'll have to come around. If they do have to park in the back, they'll have to walk through.
See that? Do you guys want to take a look at that? Those are existing conditions right here on the ground.
You'd have to move that no closer than 6 feet to the property line and still make it fit with the driveways, so.
Yeah, I think because I'm 17 and 20 from that, so I would definitely, the math works. Max, it's close.
That's actually not before us tonight, so if there's a question of that and you want to put it somewhere and it violates, you'd have to come back.
Would that fall upon you, though? Would it just be the building department for that shed? 'Cause-
He'd make the determination wherever you stuck it,
okay,
put it.
If it's less than 6, you'd have to come back for some kind of variance.
we'll try we'll try not to bother you with that.
Or if it's over 150.
The septic is, it's actually a cesspool, and because the new sewer's going in, we spoke with the Board of Health, and they said if I were to come up with an aggressive maintenance plan for the cesspool, with a regular pumping of it, they would allow it to continue until the connection, correct? Which I thought was very nice of them.
So this footprint is being expanded, correct?
The building, no.
This footprint right here is all, is.
Footprint of the building, no. It's the same foundation.
Same
But
foundation.
using the existing foundation.
Okay, okay.
It's really just the added parking and the landscaping. I mean, this is a nice dress-up of the building, and it needs it.
Needs it bad, yes. This is, we've been working on this for a year and a half.
Okay, you know what, I think if we're done with questions, I think what I'd like to do is go to the audience here and see if anyone has any comments or questions they may have of the petitioner. Please come up to the microphone, identify yourselves, and tell me.
Mark Fallon, 13 Carter Road, and I just have questions for the board, not
Okay.
for the applicant. So this property was listed on Zillow for the first 5 months of the year. It was just taken down 3 weeks ago. I have the Zillow ad if you want it. And so of course the listing is still up, and it states the property is mixed use. You can have a business and a residential dwelling. Building is fire damage and in need of major repairs or complete tear down. I'm currently working on permits to tear down and rebuild on existing footprint. The price will increase dramatically once the permits are handed. So my questions to the board: you're making a decision tonight based on a specific plan for a specific use. So, there's specific parking, you've talked about that a lot, plantings, entrances.
Still talking about that.
And you're still talking about that. So if the property is sold before construction is completed, does the new owner have to follow the plan that's presented tonight?
Yes.
Or if they want to make changes, do they come back to this
They
board?
would have to come back to the board. Anything they want to do, other than what we allow tonight, which may be a bit restrictive to the petitioner because we don't have sufficient parking on this site here for what could be there. I mean, you could conceivably take this and subdivide it into a number of different businesses, but you don't have the parking. That's why I'm saying to Mr. Kelly here, that's my biggest concern. You have really 5. You say you have 6 spots, but right now I'm looking at 5.
That's what we discussed that with the building commissioner as well. That if this did change hands, it's gonna be limited to what anybody can do with it, and it's gonna be based on approval. And if it changes hands, and somebody wants to have another business in there, they're gonna have to find out if the parking will sustain whatever they wanna do.
Well,
I think it's kinda,
I mean, we'll certainly discuss this, but my initial thinking is that this would be limited to one business, that this one business takes up the entire floor plan. No subdividing, no subleasing.
That's kind of where I was figuring it was gonna be.
And the use is going to be for pool supply. So this is.
So if there is a
there's
change of use,
they're gonna
they
have
would
to
come back to you as well. Great, thank you, sir.
I mean, I think if you have any further questions, just let us know. Thank you, Mr. Fallon. And that's just my thoughts initially, and we'll discuss it with the board, but again, it's really, it's the parking demand that I'm having a problem with here. I think the building is nice. I think what you're proposing here is gonna look beautiful.
And I'm fine with, just saying, yeah, with what you're saying right there, as far as one business and no that's kind of what I anticipated, so I don't have an issue with that at all.
And I would, that's one of the reasons I asked if there was gonna be an entrance to the front of the retail spot from the back, is I'm not keen on the idea of customers driving down Carter Road to get into this. I'd like to have them come in off 28, which, with your business, it'll probably be okay, but if you had a business that had really high demand, this could be well, I mean, I've been by this a million times, but the curb cuts really aren't laid out for a lot of demand in the front.
No, and again, this is why, where I'm aware of this, I knew this was gonna come up, we've already discussed this, and, that's, yeah, so I'm right in line with what you're saying, and it's completely expected it. And that's the kind of the consensus we came up with when discussing it, is the fact that it is gonna be a business that you're gonna come get something that you need and leave. You're not browsing around, so there won't be, it's not gonna be customers that are just in there shopping around for an hour looking at things, so the traffic is gonna be very, very small.
No, I don't think it's a business that lends itself that you're gonna have people know. I mean, it's a specialty business. I understand that, and I agree with that, and I think we all do. When I look at things like that, though, I also look at the future and subsequent owners, subsequent lessees, if you don't want to be there anymore. So these are all things that I'm sure you probably already thought through. I asked, is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this petition? If so, please come forward. Seeing none? Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Kelly?
No, I think I've said.
Okay. Well, we're going to close it to the public and begin a board discussion here. Jay, what are your thoughts?
I agree with you that you can only, parking limitations here are tough, even just the two front parkings are, I don't know how good everybody is at parallel parking, but I know some people that don't really like it very much.
You need a 3-point turn, maybe out of one of those to get out.
So it is gonna be tight for parking, so I agree with you that a single business in this location is probably the maximum of what you could do. And if this is gonna be primarily used for storage, an office, and small retail, then I think that's okay.
Well, this is going to be limited to, at least in my thinking, is the use will be that of a pool company. If
Right.
there's a change of use in this, they have to come back.
I agree,
Yeah.
I agree. So I would be in favor of it, as long as those are the criteria. I think the one thing I would caution also is the shed in the back has to be maintained according to the bylaw.
And if they're going to keep it, they have to fix it up,
Yeah.
make it look nice.
Yeah, sheds, like I said, the shed's probably the best looking thing on the property.
We take your representation, that's fine. Mr.
So,
Kelly.
and
Yeah.
otherwise, I would agree, I agree with you.
Okay. John, what do you think?
Well, I do agree with everything you said. I'm wondering, with this door in the back, you can't access your retail space in front through that door?
No, that's what the design, they didn't want that. Plus, the parking, it wouldn't work out well to have to try and back into that unit, so that was the whole thing, getting that garage door off of 28, that was.
Well, no, you gotta, not the garage door, there's another door off,
Yeah, there's a door in the side of
the
the
little,
back.
the little,
Which one are they showing?
Goes into the office?
Oh, that's just for the office, so you're talking
Right.
on the back portion of the building, yeah, sorry.
what I'm saying is, couldn't you access your retail space through that door, and then that way some of the customers could park back there, and that rather than have to walk all the way around to get to the front door.
I would, well,
And
again,
you're
I.
walking through this, what's this efficiency area?
Well, again, that's gonna configure a little different because we're losing that stairway. So you're basically just gonna go in there and that's just gonna be an office with a little,
The whole thing, all of that in the rear will be office.
correct. About nine,
You'd have to walk through the office.
to walk to our office to get to it. So you're kind of just, to be kind of interrupting one
Need
business
that
to
much
get,
office space, you think? Yeah?
I hope.
Well, so you really got two spaces for the customers.
Yeah, and it's a specialty store though. How many people are really coming to buy pool supplies, you know what I mean?
Understood.
That's, I could see two customers all day potentially, for something like that. Again, because it's specific, so you can almost, someone's so specific that you could potentially just buy it online, or just if I happen to have something that they need right away. So,
You build pools, right?
correct,
Yeah, okay.
And that's what the storage is for.
correct.
So,
But as far as my client meetings, I go on site to meet the customers because I want to get a look at the lay of the land and this and that, so.
even if they come over here, I'm sure that's not gonna be a problem. That's quiet stuff. If you come over and have a meeting, but it's good advertising for you, obviously, to have a nice company right here on 28. And it's very good for the neighborhood too, to have that redeveloped and it'll look really nice on the corner.
I'm
Barbara, your thoughts?
No, I was just concerned with the parking in the front. That was parallel, you said?
Yes.
I don't do parallel.
Well, hopefully.
Anybody's gonna when they pull in anyway. It's like the Bass Urban Liquor Store, the moonshine, you're driving there and everybody parks this way. And it probably won't be a problem because you won't have that many customers, but
Yeah.
I have a hard time imagining people coming in and the parallel parking.
Parking, yeah.
And we actually cut if you look on the front of the parking that's going towards Carter Road, that's where we put that big angle on there to make it much easier. So it's going to be a much easier angle to get in and out of there. Because the left side of the property is pretty wide open, and the right side, like I said, we cut a chunk of that angle off just so you can kind of make easier access to that.
All right, no, that's all I had.
Will we have this?
I can actually, that's my original. I'm gonna give you
Yeah,
the-
that's his.
Yeah. Can you have that? I'd like to have one of those for the file. We're gonna mark this as Exhibit 1. Okay, we got received at hearing. We're gonna use these right here as a representation. And this one, obviously the plans.
Not in there.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, Tim?
No, I think I've said, I think as much as I can at this point. Unless you have questions.
All right, so,
So the conditions we're gonna require are basically a single pool supply store business,
pool supply business
and storage, whatever.
and storage is represented by the petitioner, but it's only his business. It's pool supply, so if someone else wants to come in and do the same thing, they can, all right? So if you, but if anybody does anything other than pool supply company, that's a change of use, and they must come back before this board for further hearing and further special permit.
So I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the submission, the petition as presented with that condition that it be limited to the pool supply and the storage, single use. And if anybody changes it, they have to come back. And I think that would be a reasonable condition, given the parking.
Okay.
Just that one condition?
I think that what the decision will reflect is that, again, that it's one business, pool supply, limited to this whole front part right here is your retail space, the back is your office space. You have your storage, and if there's any change of use, you must come back before the board, or whoever else wants to do
It's
that.
reasonable.
I guess one other thing I'd add would be that it adheres to all recommendations from engineering on the design review,
Right.
or site plan review.
Design
yeah,
review,
not-
we've
not
met that, it's
design review.
engineering.
Site plan,
yeah.
Site plan review.
Let me just take a look at site plan review, what you're referring to. I saw engineering here. Let me just take a look.
I think we covered most of the stuff with the plan that you're seeing.
Cuts.
Yeah, with, I think that addressed everything.
Curb cuts and,
Have you covered the drainage issue? Is there a drainage issue?
There's not, there's no puddling there now, nothing's happening, so it's, yeah, it's fine.
I think, given,
I think if we paved
I
it,
think
that would be,
given my experience with that property, it sits a little bit of a higher elevation. It's probably just gonna run off into Carter Road or off
Yeah,
into
it's- exactly.
28. I don't really
There's two
think you
drains. I know
need to
there's-
do that. It's not a big building.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's really the size of a house.
Yeah, I think that's why he noted it, if we paved, it says on that notice, if we pave, we're gonna need to deal with drainage, but as it sits,
Yeah.
it's fine. There's
There-
two,
there's a
there
lot
are
of
two,
pervious
there's catch
area.
basins on the, kind of towards the back on Carter Road. I'm almost certain there's two of them over there.
There's probably one right out somewhere along 28 too.
so you don't feel that that's necessary?
We don't have a drainage plan though, that's the thing, yeah. I'm not sure it's gonna be that much of an impact. I think we're probably okay on that.
Okay.
Okay, so Jay's made a motion. John, you second the motion? Okay. Any discussion on the motion? The only thing I would add is I do think you meet the criteria of the bylaw. I think this is a great improvement to to Route 28 there. Glad to see you coming in. I think it's gonna be great. You'll do well, okay? And we wish you the best of luck. Okay, we're gonna take a roll call vote. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That passes 4 in favor, none opposed. As you may be aware, there's a 20-day appeal period after the decision is clocked with the town clerk. Once that period elapses, we will contact you. You can take your special permit over to the Registry of Deeds, record it, and return it to, a copy to our board for our records. We have a request for variance. I think you want to withdraw that
With prejudice, please,
without
No,
prejudice? Yeah, we'll do that one.
please.
Okay, all right.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So that's unanimous. So you're all set, Mr. Kelly. We wish you the best in your future endeavor.
Thank you, members, appreciate it.
All right, very
Enjoy your
nice
night.
to see you. Okay. Let me get situated here. Yeah. Okay. Put your agenda away quite yet. That's that one. Okay, let's go to our final petition. That's Dennis L. Mason and Deborah A. Mason, trustees of the D&D Realty Trust. Property is at 10 Embassy Lane, Yarmouthport. It's in an R40 zoning district, and the applicant seeks a variance from Section 203.5 for front setback relief to construct a 16 by 24 sunroom and extend an existing 12-foot deck. Come on up, have a seat.
I'm Dennis Mason. This is our architect, Sam Stryber.
Okay.
Sam has worked with us for the last 15 years, maybe on many projects.
And I'm Deborah Mason.
See.
But I'm foregoing my seat to Mr. Stryber.
Oh, I see, okay.
Well, that's all right,
You can
because
pull up
I make
into
a
the
good
chair.
driver, so I'm always out front anyway, see, so. So what we
If you have
have,
any questions, would you like us to direct them to you? Or-
well,
Okay, all right,
no, it's okay. I'm used to that too as well, so.
okay. All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you want to do?
So, we, over the years, the family has kind of grown, and we built this home 10 years ago, and we love it there, and it's a great neighborhood. And as it's grown, why, we've needed a little bit more space since we now have more numbers of people. And so we want to add a sunroom more, and it gives us a little more space when we have our gatherings and so forth, so we can all get together and enjoy the property and enjoy Cape Cod.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah, it's a 16 by 24 sunroom, and then we've increased the size of the deck, run it a little bit further on the back by another 10 feet. And it will all blend into the existing structure too as well. The structure itself is as you see, we kind of copied it after the old Yarmouth Inn, that back portion, where they enclosed that, where it used to be summertime and only 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
So we like the looks of the windows, and the panels and so forth. And then we put a standing seam metal roof on a 12-inch roof to kind of give it a nice, character to the.
Have you been to Old Kings Highway? Have they taken a look at it?
Yes. You should have,
Yeah, I
you should
think
have the
so.
sign off in there,
I
so,
think
yes.
we have the sign-offs from them. Okay, all right, that's good. Okay.
I thought it was handsome.
So do we. See if we can fit it on the property. Anything else you'd like to add at this time?
I think that's it. We just, again, when we started into it, my memory loss as I get older, it kind of hit me that, wait a minute, we got a corner lot here. And so we have 2 front yards instead of a side yard and so forth, so.
Yes, we're aware of that. Those corner lots can be a little difficult to navigate the setbacks.
Along Bray Farm there, though, we have all trees and so forth, so you really can't see even into that end of the property. I don't know whether it shows that on the photographs that I took, but, it's nicely, we keep up with our properties, so.
No, it's very nice. Okay. All right, why don't we go to the board with some questions? Barbara, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No,
Okay.
no, looks very nice.
Okay. John?
No, I don't have any. Well, maybe one. The deck is how far from the rear lot line?
From the,
Proposed deck.
I think it's 37 feet is what is that what it said?
Well, that's,
The
yeah,
same as-
okay,
yeah, they're-
okay, I see
they're-
that. That's where the current deck is too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it equals the existing deck there, so we don't go any further back, so.
right,
no.
gotcha. Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Okay. Jay?
So, it's a corner lot, so 30 feet is the norm on both sides. It looks like the current one, how deep is that one? How far out from the house is the new sunroom going to be?
16 feet,
16 feet?
yes.
So 16 plus the 19, so you're about 35 feet right now, or approximately 36
That's
feet from
correct,
the...
correct,
And you'd be going probably just over 10 feet into the setback.
correct.
And it is a side setback. That's, yeah, second front, but
Yeah.
I call it the side front.
Side front yard, yeah.
Side front.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, and across the street, there's woods, it looks like.
That's correct.
Is
and
that a
that's-
buildable
That's a
lot?
part of, no, it is not.
Okay.
Yes, well, let me say this. If they want to build something there, they have to do it, but I think they Form A'd it. I think it is combined with the lot that the house sits on, which is
Very
the second one.
steep, I know,
I
it's a
can
very
speak to
steep.
it. I just sold it
Oh.
last year. I can speak to it.
There you go.
I was their realtor.
Go right ahead, tell me about it.
It was originally 2 lots,
Uh-huh.
but the owner never subdivided, so it's grandfathered, it will never be able to be, so it is a part of 2 Bray Farm.
2 Bray
So
Farm.
what they would ever be able to do would to come
Which-
and request to do like an ADU on it, or a
Yeah.
garage, or something else, but it's never going to be its own single-family lot.
Which right now is just wooded,
It's all wooded.
correct.
and then you have trees between them.
Right,
Yes, and we have
So
completely
arborvitae.
treed that side of Bray Farm, and then the
think
whole
they're-
back of our property is treed as well.
I think they were arborvitaes, is that right?
No
No,
white cedar
Oh, there's,
and blue
Yeah.
spruce.
Okay.
yeah, nice, and they're fully,
All right, so it's really, the request is 10 feet into the setback. That's all I had.
Okay. I don't actually have any questions. I understand what you want to do. We're sensitive to people who come before us with corner lots. We understand how it can be difficult to meet those 30 feet on each side. Let me just see, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to come and speak in favor of this petition? Please come to the microphone, identify yourself, and tell us your thoughts.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sharon Valancourt. I live at 9 Embassy. And Deb and Dennis are obviously our neighbors. They live right across the street. We're in favor of this project. They are great neighbors, keep a really nice house, so we're here to support them.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Is anyone here to speak in opposition to this petition? If so, please come to the microphone. Seeing none. Okay. Do we have anybody online? No one with their hands raised or anything? All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I'd like to build it.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a little discussion about that. Okay. All right. So
I'm under a lot of pressure now, you understand that, so.
I can see it, yeah. Okay, we're gonna close the hearing to the public, and we're gonna begin board discussion. Anybody want to begin a discussion? Jay, what are your thoughts here?
I think it's a very nice addition. It's 10 feet into the side front setback, but, and there's no one across the street. There really isn't. So I don't really think it's a problem. I think it's reasonable request, and I would be supportive of the project.
Okay, thank you. Barbara, your thoughts?
No, I'm in support of it.
Okay. John?
I'd agree with Jake, yeah, it's reasonable, nice project.
Yeah, okay. I think so, too. I think it's a reasonable request. We get them from time to time on the corner lots. I mean, you still have approximately 20 feet from the end of your addition to out to the property line, which doesn't really include the, probably what you're stealing from the town setback, too. So you got plenty of room out there. It's very tastefully done. I think it's going to be a very nice addition to the neighborhood, and I do think you meet the criteria. I certainly don't think there's going to be any undue nuisance, hazard, or congestion, and I think you're certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood or the surrounding zoning district. So, is anybody prepared to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the petition as presented.
Okay. No conditions. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by John, seconded by Barbara, to approve the petition as presented with no conditions. Any further discussion? Hearing none. We're going to take a roll call vote. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That passes 4 in favor, none against. You may have heard on the last petition, once the decision is drafted and filed with the town clerk, there is a 20-day appeal period. After that period elapses, we will contact you. You can come in, pick up your special permit, take it over to the, excuse me 1 second here, let me just check on something. Take it over to the Registry of Deeds, record it, and just bring a copy back for our records, okay? I just want to check on something here for a second. I just want to backtrack just 1 second on this. This is not special permit relief, this is variance.
Correct.
So before we take the vote, I do want to make a further comment on the criteria. I think you have met the criteria for a variance. I think you have a hardship. I think it's owing to circumstances relative to the lot, specifically the shape and the topography. And so I think by granting you this relief, we would not be derogating from the purpose and intent of the bylaw. And so therefore, you do meet the criteria for a variance. So the variance, and is everyone in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we are approving the variance as requested. We're just going to do another vote on that, just so we're all clear. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye to approve the variance as requested. Same requirements. Once it's filed with the town clerk, 20 days must elapse. Then you can pick up your special permit, take it to, the variance, take it to the Registry of Deeds, record it, and bring a copy back for our records. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
All right.
All set.
Well, good luck with your project, and thank you very much for coming in.
One quick one, though.
Go ahead.
Can I go ahead and start process with the building permit?
You can, I don't think they're going to, you can check.
Don't
with
have to
them, but
grant it until,
I think they're gonna have to wait until after you get your variance issued before they'll process your paperwork, but you can take that up with them.
okay.
You can certainly get everything ready, any sign-offs you need or any of that, just get them ready and then contact everybody if you need.
I have that package ready right now. We do this every day, thank you.
I was gonna say, she looks like she's experienced with this. All right, thank you, folks. All right.
Thank you.
We have minutes from May 22nd. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Do you have anything else on the agenda tonight?
That's it.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn, I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Mr. Martin not appearing tonight, will be
no
placed
show.
on.